Welcome to this week's episode of Worth Following Weekly, 5 minutes of mentoring on the skills to make you a better leader who is truly worth following. I'm your host, lead consultant for Roots to Sky Consulting, Mark Legvold. Last week, we talked about how and when to start preparing for the difficult conversations that inevitably come up, regardless of where we work or live. Remember that preparation for a hard conversation starts long before the hard things actually happen. Building positive relationships in a healthy culture will not eliminate the need for hard conversations, but it will improve trust between those in the relationship and will make sure that after the conversation is over, those involved leave feeling cared about and respected. So let's move on to the work of dealing with hard things. If you've built a positive culture that's based on mutual trust and respect in your workplace, you should want to do these hard conversations well. That's what leaders work toward. Remember, a leader cares and cares deeply about their people and the culture they want to build. When you start preparing, always remember the 7 P's of excellence that I mentioned last week. Proper prior planning prevents poor personal performance. You want to succeed, not just for the sake of yourself, but for others. So, in the spirit of the 7 P's, I'm going to give you a guide to help prepare. This takes work, just like all mentoring action plans. So, I urge you to take the time to reflect and write out your plan for action if you're facing a difficult conversation. Trust me, your personal performance will be positively planned, properly punctuated. So, to start preparing, begin with the basics. Write out the date that you're planning on having the conversation, the topic to be covered, who you'll be covering it with, where you'll have it, and how you will notify them. The basics. Now, a note on logistics that should be pretty common sense. Always work to deliver conversations personally. Text messages, emails, voicemails, they might be great ways to set up a conversation, but have the courage and the respect to give your face to the hard work of delivering a hard conversation. Once you set up the basics in your preparation, then write out a specific SMART goal for the conversation. Make the message specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time measured or timely. Focus on what you and your organization need to achieve after the conversation has been executed. Here's an example. Let's say Robert's my employee and he has a habit of not coming in with clean clothing. So my SMART goal for Robert is Robert will wear clean clothing to work for every shift beginning on Monday, the 21st, in compliance with Chapter 5 of our employee policy manual. Smart, right? Notice that the goal included a specific chapter of the policy manual. To prepare for these difficult conversations, take a note from the good book of management and have the resources noted. Policy manuals, employee guides, regulations, and laws, they're good guides. Leaders execute them with care and compassion. They don't just go in and cite the chapter and verse. So, speaking of care and compassion, the next set of planning is to work through the beginning, middle, and end of your conversation. My suggestion is to remember to be firm when planning out the actual conversation. And FIRM's an acronym: first statements, information to be presented, resources, and making it matter. So first statements are important. They set the tone and the tempo of the conversation. So write out 3 different ways to start. This way, you have some pre-planned options that you can rely on. Information to be presented. This is the actual goal of the meeting that you already wrote out, and any other information you feel needs to be included. Stay away from hearsay. Be factual with your information. Make sure that part of the information included is the value of this person to the organization's mission and the culture of the workplace. Resources are also key in a hard conversation. Remember, I said policy manuals, HR guidelines, regulation, and laws, and even the mission and vision of the organization are key parts. Now, if your organization has done the good, hard work of establishing a code of conduct that goes beyond just behavior, it includes values of care and respect, These are great ways to keep the difficult conversation in line with the care and respect you want to leave with. M is making it matter. Touch the heart and inspire the action. Make sure that the person you're having a hard conversation with leaves understanding that they're a valued member of the team and relied on by others, and that simple changes to meet the goal can lead to a better workplace for all. Firm, first statements, information to include, resources to have available, and making it matter. Working through the phrases that you can use to be firm will help make a difficult conversation at least well prepared for. Next week on Worth Following Weekly, I'll model out what preparation really looks like and what to do after a hard conversation so that everyone in your organization will see you as a leader who is worth following. We'll see you then.